Hey, when you're doing a compound exercise such as a seated row, a lat pull down, a chin up, a bench press, a push up, a dip, whatever it might be, it's an exercise that involves many joints. Compound means lots of joints. And if you look at the seated row, for example, we've got shoulder extension and elbow flexion. And obviously the target muscle when people do this exercise is obviously the back muscles, latissimus dorsi, teres major, long head of tricep and deltoid that are responsible for shoulder extension. However, what we tend to forget is that we also have to create elbow flexion at the same time, which is caused by biceps brachii, brachialis and brachioradialis. But the interesting thing with a compound exercise is that any compound exercise is limited by its limiting link, or the weakest link. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So in the body, when we're doing a compound exercise, it's the smallest muscle group which is the weakest link. So when you do a lat pull down, a chin up, a seated row, whatever it might be, it's the smaller muscles that will fatigue before the big muscles. So in this case, it will be the smaller muscle groups that are responsible for elbow flexion that will fatigue before the large muscle groups, such as the latissimus dorsi, which is the large muscle, the biceps brachii is the small muscle. Biceps brachii, small link, latissimus dorsi, big link. So your performance is going to be limited by the weakest link, which means you're going to fatigue when your bicep fatigues 100%, not when your latissimus dorsi fatigues 100%. Which means when you do a seated row, your biceps has fatigued 100% because it's the weakest link. So the question then is, what do I need now to go and do bicep curls when I've actually already trained the bicep in the compound exercise? So the great question is, are we just doing more than what is actually needed on the smaller muscle groups that may actually overtrain the small muscle groups, which may overtrain the weak links that hinder us from really loading the big links in the next training session? So the question is, why are you doing isolated exercises when the compound exercise train the muscles that are already in the isolated exercise? All you're doing is double dipping, and you know what you say about double dipping. No cow poo.